Hello, my name is Joseph Pierini, and I want to talk reporting. I'm a seasoned infosec veteran and a penetration testing practice director. I've run a number of practices over the years with clients worldwide. Now look, it doesn't matter what we call it, pen tests, red teams, adversarial simulation, whatever. No matter how good we may be at hacking into their networks, bypassing EDR, writing amazing 0 days, or even rappelling down the side of buildings with an alpha wireless adapter in our teeth and a wireless pineapple strapped to our back, what the client is ultimately paying for is the report. Now, the report is our method of communicating vulnerabilities, weaknesses, and risks to the client. But too often, the tools we have to create reports are cumbersome and difficult. Heck, I've had operators who can hack into geostationary satellites, but struggle centering the text in a column of an inserted table in Microsoft Word. Even when formatting isn't the issue, I might still have 10, 20, or even 30 templates that all have to be kept up to date. You know, dodgy macros and Visual Basic scripts that break formatting can have you tearing your hair out. Yeah, I said that. Well, you know what I mean. Now, bosses have argued, well, you've got programmers on the team. Why can't you just have them whip something up? Well, yes and no. I mean, sure, I've got people who could take a stab at it, but that's not their primary job. Their value to the company is in the field, not writing a pen test reporting platform. It's also not as easy as it looks. I've seen several practices start and fail. Heck, there's a managing director out there that still needs to make good on our 10-pound bet that he would deliver on time. Now, I could use some of the open source products, but let's face it, they still take a while to stand up, and it's open source, so I have no warranty or customer service I can reach out to when I have issues. Plus, what happens when the developer decides maybe he's bored or has better things to do, or worse, decides to go commercial? So that leaves me with half a dozen or so commercial pen testing products. A few of these I can eliminate immediately, because in order to use them, I have to change how I run my practice. Well, that's a deal breaker. The tools have to be flexible enough to accommodate my business, not the other way around. All right, so going through the remaining commercial products, I can tell you that what I probably don't need is a reporting platform that can run Nmap. I mean, why? Nmap isn't even my go-to port scanner, and in plenty of situations, I might go to MassScan. I mean, it's sort of like having a TV with a VHS tape built in. So it's, a strange flex, not a deal breaker per se, but it does have me wondering what you're thinking. What I want is a product that's easy to stand up. If it takes a customer success team 2 months and I need to learn a whole new programming language, forget it. I also want it to grow with me. Initially, I want to be able to write clean reports efficiently and easily. But tomorrow, I might want Jira or ServiceNow integration. And in the future, I'll certainly want single sign-on and Azure integrations. But keep it flexible and let me add things on as my business grows. Hey, it also needs to be secure. I've got client data in there. And the first question they ask is, how do I secure their data? So expect the same question from me. I might go ahead and use your cloud, but you'll need to tell me how you isolate client data and how you secure it. And please tell me more than it just has role-based access controls, because that's not enough. All right, so my needs have narrowed the field to a small handful of contenders. Now, just recently, I was introduced to a product called AttackForge. Now, they are aware that I happen to know a few things about report writing, having been a pen tester for a few years, and I had a hand in recommending the pen test reporting format for the PCI data security standard. So, they gave me a demo account and free rein to do a short unboxing video. Now, I imagine their product has a ton of features and bells and whistles, but what I'm really interested to know is if I can simply log in and make heads or tails of the product. So no flashy demo or walkthrough from their team. Just let me figure it out as on my own and maybe even generate a quick report. Okay, but full transparency. When you initially get an account, you get MFA turned on by default. Now I asked for it to be turned off because I was getting a new phone and I didn't know when that would happen, and I didn't want this review delayed by my need to have a shiny new cell phone. So let's dig in. Let's go ahead and log in. Let me see here. Like I said before, I don't have MFA turned on. So when it logs me in, yeah, it's going to hit me straight into the dashboard. A project. It's fairly nice. So I've got projects on hold, waiting to start, in progress, completed, pending, retest. That looks pretty good. This would be really helpful if I had a project manager involved. They can see in the immediately when they log in how things are going. If I've got a customer view, the customer would be able to see it. Wow, I like the vulnerabilities. Speaking of customers, if I had a customer log in, and they could immediately see the vulnerabilities that we've identified during the pen test. We've got easily exploitable, really critical information, open criticals, open mediums, the OWASP top 10, CWE top 25. Yeah, this is all, I love the 0 day. This is all really useful. Let me scroll down when I've got users. All right, I'm not quite sure what I'm meant to do with users, clients. I suppose the last 24 hours could be useful if I was the project manager or if I wanted to see if a client had logged in. All right, so that's good. Let's take a look. Where to next? Let's take a look at the left-hand nav. So we've got analytics, which I don't have yet, projects. I haven't started any projects, retesting, track vulnerabilities and remediation across all projects. That's a beautiful view again. I'm thinking of a particular, customer I had, huge financial company with, say, 60 different business units, and I could have had this picture here. Could have tracked them all, where they are, which ones still needed to be remediated. So that would have been pretty sweet. Schedule. Oh, this is gorgeous. Okay, so I can get a client view, I can get a consultant view, okay, there's only me in here, so there's not much of a list, but this would be beautiful for the project managers, again, to be able to see how much white space we have. Customers could log in, they could immediately see when their projects are starting, when they expect to be ending, who's on them. I really like this. This is a nice view. All right, let's look at reporting. We don't have any reports, obviously. We haven't done anything. Search. Okay, we can search by vulnerabilities. We can search by assets. That makes a lot of sense. Ooh, attack chains. Now this would be nice. I don't know what this necessarily is going to look like, but I've always had pushback from customers that want to go, well, if we just fix that first thing you found, then we don't have to fix everything else. And this would be useful to show them that, well, wait a second. No, you can't just fix that one thing. You got to fix them all if you want to be secure or if you want to meet certain compliance, whatever the case is. So I like this. This is good. This could come in handy. Vulnerability library. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, the main vulnerabilities. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, this is gorgeous. So we've got 1,285 vulnerabilities already in here. Let me see something. Can I search for reflective or reflected? Reflect. Okay, reflected cross-site scripting. Already in there. Now, what's nice about this, first off, just having, your vulnerabilities already written up and ready to go, but everybody's using the same vulnerability. And I've had in practices where, each one of the operators had their own kit, and in that kit, they had all of their vulnerability descriptions for when they were writing the reports. And that's great, but then we could have reflected cross-site scripting, we could have reflective cross-site scripting, we could have reflected XSS, we could have, we could have the same vulnerability with 6 different names. Now, if I have, like that large customer I was talking about before, if I wanted to go back and do an analysis of each business unit or how they were improving test over test, it was really hard because we could have the same one vulnerability with 6 different names, and you can't do an analysis with that. So having a good, strong vulnerability database is absolutely important. I love this. All right, so what is Test Suite Builder? Test suites. What are the test suites? All test suites. Oh my. Okay, I used to call these playbooks, but they're calling them test suites. But the idea, I think, is the same. Let me dig into this. Oh yeah, it is. Oh, this is fantastic. So the idea behind the test suites or playbooks or whatever you call it is that you've got a certain number of steps or a certain number of elements that need to be contained within the engagement, and this is your checklist. This doesn't tell you how to pen test, but it makes sure that you have covered all of the specifics during the engagement, which is easy to not do. I mean, especially with web application testing, you go down one rabbit hole and you've forgotten to check session management or business logic injection or whatever the case is. And by having these lists, I mean, we used to keep playbooks and we used to keep lists for testing. You can go back and you can see, okay, did I miss anything? Have I followed the necessary steps to ensure that I've done a full and complete engagement? The other thing this is absolutely useful for is juniors. I mean, a lot of times I couldn't hire a junior because I just couldn't put them in the field with the ability to do the test. I mean, they may have been great testers in capture the flag, and they may have passed all of our tests during the interview, and we have a real good sense of it, but they didn't have enough time in the field. So I was reluctant to really engage with them and put them out there. But with a playbook or with the test cases, you could have someone who doesn't have necessarily the years of experience that the rest of your team has, and they have all of the elements that they need in the playbook to ensure that they're going to do a full and complete test. So that's perfect. Can I create my own? Let me see something here. My test suites. Yeah, let's see. Export menu, create new test suite. Oh, this would be very nice. So I could go through here and make my own test suite, say for a specific engagement. I didn't see wireless in there, for example. I could create a test suite or playbook for wireless testing, or if I had something specific to a customer, like there are certain rules of engagement that I want to ensure that we are aware of when we're starting the test, I could put them in the test suite and we would be sure to have them at our fingertips. That's awesome. That would be very useful. It's not like you can't just knock one out in a second. I mean, it's going to take you a few minutes or so to really do it. But once you get it nailed down and once you have it, I mean, it's gold. It'll just make every engagement so much quicker and you're so much efficient. All right, so what else have we got here? Let me keep going. Groups, deleted groups. I don't know anything about groups. I'll have to ask the AttackForge team how they use groups. Doesn't make sense to me. Users, I'm the only user. Okay, I can create a new user. Fair enough. I can set the role. What are our roles? So we have client. Good. I have consultant. I have library moderator. I suppose perhaps that's somebody who just has permission to go into the vulnerability library. So if I have a tech writer and I want to give them access to the vulnerability library, it looks like I can do that. I've got project coordinators. Perfect. And then administrator. Great. So that's pretty good. I like that vulnerability library moderator. That kind of makes a lot of sense. Let's see. Administration. What have I got in administration? Oh, all right. Those are the add-ons that I talked about earlier. Things I might want to have in the future. So there's my Jira and my ServiceNow, and I've got Azure. Perfect. Kenna, I'm not familiar with. I've got self-service API, asset modules, single sign-on. Oh, then I've got Microsoft Teams integration or Slack or Discord. Now, that's useful. Far more useful than, say, putting Nmap in here. I hate to keep beating up that other platform on Nmap, but at least here with Slack or Teams, we can collaborate more effectively during a pen test, and we could pass notes and vulnerability information back and forth securely for that specific project. So that could be pretty good. All right, let's take a look at configuration. Configuration, what have we got? Emails, yeah, enable emails. I mean, this is kind of nice. What did the emails do? Email when a new user is created, when project is off hold, when it's on hold. All right, off the top of my head, this is not like immediately self-explanatory how I use these, but it looks like I've got a fair amount of flexibility in here, so that's helpful. We've got our vulnerabilities, enable remediation plan, enable the 0 days, enable CIA fields in the library. Okay, so a lot of customization, and I can drill down into the vulnerability itself a little bit more thoroughly. I can enable fields in here. It looks like that's useful. Projects. I can set some additional controls around projects. That's helpful. Reporting, libraries. Okay. I don't know what that means. I can talk to the AttackForge team. SLAs. Oh, now SLAs are really useful. So I could be able to track SLAs, which is helpful for customers, just more so when they have either internal processes that require items to be fixed within a specific amount of time, or when they are subject to regulatory regimes and they have to fix things, say, within 30 days of notification, things along those lines. So SLAs are very useful in some instances for some customers. So enabling this would be helpful. Let me see, modules. I don't understand. Users, I can set more rules, probably some role-based access controls around users. Security, miscellaneous, enable US date format. Yes, please. I am, here in the United States. I need that. Let's see, enable the Sunday through Thursday work week. Nope, we're Monday through Friday. Upload a new logo. Okay, login page and reports. Okay. Well, let's do that. What have I got? No. Browse. Here we go. Pierini Consulting. Open. Here we go. Update. All right, my configuration is updated. And there we are. All right, so let's go build a report. Right? Can I go straight into reports? Let me go to menu, customize reports, upload a new template. That's useful. Download the offline reporting tool. Nah, I don't know what that means. I'll have to talk to them. Okay, so it doesn't look like I can go straight into reporting. I probably have to build a project first. So let's go to My Projects, menu. Okay, if I'm a client, I can request a new project, I'm imagining. I can create a new project, and I can clone an existing. Oh, that's useful. All right, so I'm going to create a new project, and we'll call this, I don't know, web app 01, project code. We'll call this company XYZ 001. Validate means I haven't used it before. Okay. Project scope, I can put in, looks like IPs, domains, specific URI. Assign the test suites. I can do a start date. Okay, project scope, it looks like I have to do. So, Pierini.us. And assign the test suites. We'll do web application. Fine. Start date. We'll do it. We'll do it today, and we'll have it end by tomorrow. Great. What I can choose? My scoring systems. Oh, that's cool. It's a baseline plus temporal. All right. I'm just going to leave the baseline for this. Vulnerability code used to generate user. I don't understand that. I will have to talk to them. Okay, this is more emailing. Automatic. I can add project team members. All right. All right, let's just do create new project. And the project is created. And it looks like it has dropped me right into the project. So I'm good to go here. So I could start my pen test, it looks like, and I could begin to build the report. So let's see. Looks like I could start to add I could add vulnerabilities. All right, so let's select the library. We'll select the main library. Select vulnerabilities from library. Okay, let's do XSS. And embedded script, affected assets. I can grab that. Oh, look, wow. So the moment I pick the vulnerability and I pick the asset, I can now build the CVSS score. So this is network, low, none, none. Scope is unchanged, low, low, and low. Likelihood of exploitation, 8 to 10. Great. Introduce steps to reproduce. Oh, this requires that. So I could cut and paste in the and whatever, and do something like that. And we're good. Okay, let's go ahead and save and upload the evidence. All right, so I've created the vulnerability. Let's go back to reports. Where is reporting? There's my project. And what is this? All right, it's waiting to start. I don't know how to change that, but let's just go and hit PDF. All right, so theoretically, my report is being created. And it just downloaded it. And what have I got? I've got a report. Oh, look at that. It's got my logo in it already. Oh. All right. Huh. Not a heck of a lot of information in here because I only threw that one vulnerability into it, but embedded script and HTTP headers, priority high, easily exploitable. It's got the description, it's got the attack scenario, it's got all of the tags, it's got the affected assets, it's got steps to reproduce, everything that I put in there. That is pretty darn impressive. Incredible. That took me all of maybe, 5 minutes to write a report? Now, to be fair, this is the default template with my logo, and there is a decent amount of customizing that could still be done, but color me impressed. I did a little clicking around, and most of it was self-explanatory. Now, I know there is a completely separate help site that I can turn to if I decide to make this my reporting platform, but, my first impression is really good. Now, there are a few questions I need answers to, like how is my data in that evidence stored? And how do I take my current report in Microsoft Word and import it as a template? How can I tweak the notifications, add additional users, get my clients in the portal, and so on? Now, all of these are questions for future videos. But for now, I'm feeling pretty good about what I've seen, and I'm looking forward to becoming a full-fledged reportsmith with AttackForge.